And then I think we're going into our
Yep.
next topic before Super Bowl bets.
Yes. Our
Okay.
last topic before Super Bowl bets. So.
We're doing women's softball, which we had a
Hmm.
segment on beforehand.
Yep.
I know most of the stuff. This is originally we were going to do this on Thursday. There was a bigger game. The first game I think kicked off was going to be Oklahoma State versus Arizona, and they defeated them. That was one of their bigger games, 5-2. And today is more of the big day for softball events itself, which I think if I'm reading off the scores right now, the bigger games are going to be Florida versus Michigan, and I believe Florida is. If I'm currently, they have not. I believe they haven't started yet. If I'm looking at this correctly, but I also have the scores pulled up on the side. But there's gonna be lots of things that are gonna be going on mostly today. I think they still have the majority of the games going on later, coming around 6 p.m. I think is when it looks like we still. Oh, there's a lot of games because there's a bunch of tournaments going on today. So I know we went into a bunch of this. On a longer segment and getting more familiar with the players. So if you have a bunch of extra time before the Super Bowl is going to start tomorrow, then this is on the rest of the night. And I think we're going to try and be able to find this. I think majority of it is going to be streamed pretty easily online. From what I understand, the NCAA makes it kind of easy. You don't have to look for any illicit streams or anything like that. I think for the most part, it's pretty online friendly. So I think there's going to be tournaments on for whatever college you are interested in for the rest of the night that is going on. And I'm also trying to look up some of the more premier headlines in the background. But I know that you ended up watching a bit of it and some research for this too. So.
Yeah. I it's one that it's a sport that obviously I played baseball 13 years, so for me I love baseball, and it's always going to be in my heart. So watching softball, I didn't really watch a lot of softball before, and then we did that segment with your girlfriend Tessa, and she talked a lot about it, and I got to watch a lot of the games during that year and the highlights, and it's actually quite entertaining for people that don't watch it, because it's very fast paced. There's a lot going on. It's not as slow as baseball can be at times. There's because of the way that the field is a little bit shorter and everything like that, but the reaction times is quite incredible too by some of these players, and just the quick decision making because of the quicker, they have to be quicker and all that. It's and then also the pressure that a lot of these people are getting put on. I mean, some of these players, like I said, last year there was a player, if I remember correctly, who's on this list again. I think it was Sandercock, who didn't she have a no-hitter?
Oh yeah,
To
that was the big
no,
headline.
it's Founts, Montana
Yeah.
Founts. She's got it right here. Yeah, threw a no-hitter in the World Series last year to advance her team. A no-hitter in the freaking tournament to advance is insane to me, and that's one of those headlines where I just go that's wild. A no-hitter is difficult enough, and then to throw it in one of the most high-pressure situations possible is crazy to me. So
Yeah.
there's just so many things like that about the sport that are just so interesting. And there's a lot of names here. You're probably a little bit more familiar as far as talking to Tessa about the names and everything, if you want to run through some of those headlines on here that we got.
I was caught off guard when I was trying to read off of it, but Florida and Michigan, I don't know if it's a scoreboard error here because I wasn't able to watch the game today, but they ended 0-0, which that's why I was looking at that, and I was like, am I looking at the right score? But anyways, yeah, they pretty much just a quick breakdown of the games. The Florida Gators had a lot of their pitching staff that was going to be returning, with Michigan also pitching very well, and I guess that might be why they ended 0-0. So maybe that was a little bit of forecasting to that. But they're supposed to be one of the favorites to go up into the World Series for women's college ball. So they're going to be coming up pretty soon. I think the next premier game is going to be Oklahoma because they are the returning champs from last year. Obviously going into where the tournament where that no-hitter was going on. So they're going to be returning for this year, but they had a bunch of losses to their pitching staff. So I think Juarez has graduated, the National Player of the Year, and then Jocelyn Allo, I think if I'm saying that correctly, and the Freshman of the Year, Tiara Jennings, that's a very cool name, are both going to be returning. And I believe Allo said she broke the single season record for home runs with 34, and total bases with 203. And her batting average was 475, which was the highest in program history, which is a coin flip every time. And that's ridiculous to think about. So she's going to be breaking the former all-time NCAA home record of 95, which she is currently 8 away from. So you might be able to see that either ridiculously in the next week or so, possibly today, if that would happen to occur. Be kind of crazy.
Yeah, that's the other thing too, if I can interject real quick, that blew my mind when I started researching this sport, is just how insane like the best hitters and best pitchers are. Like the best hitters will just have like, yeah, they're just measly 475, just casual.
Yeah.
And then it'll be like the best pitcher will be like, yeah, they have like a .8 ERA, and I'm like, I'm sorry, or what now? like I just, like she's showing right here, had a Pac-12 best Megan Farimo, I'm probably pronouncing that incorrectly.
Good times.
Yeah, is which you're gonna highlight a little bit again, but yeah, a Pac-12 1.1 ERA. Like, can you imagine having that's the other thing too, is like with hitters that are batting 475 and you still have a 1.1 ERA, like that's insane to me.
Yeah.
Like that's why like the level of talent is incredible, because it's like the best in the league or the best in the sport are like ridiculously better than like others, and it's wild. So anyways, that was just a little interjection that like broke me when I was like looking at the stats, and I was like, holy crap.
Yeah. Okay, the update: University of South Florida. Okay, USF beat Michigan 4-1 today. Okay, so that might have been a technical issue that was on their website, but
yeah,
good. Okay. But yeah, as you were saying, for Montana Fouch, she's going to be returning. She was the one who threw the no-hitter that we were talking about beforehand. Catherine Sandercock returns to FSU after she pitched her team to the title series at the World Series last season. And I guess
she's insane too. If you look at her highlights and
yeah,
watch her, I mean, as a fellow pitcher, not in softball, obviously in baseball, but as a fellow pitcher and understanding like going after batters and everything, God, she is crazy to watch.
Yeah. So. And I believe you said Farimo. Farimo was your attempt?
I said Farimo is how I would pronounce it, I think.
Okay, yeah. Well, good. Yeah. So we already talked about her ERA being ridiculous, even though she had a hand injury. And then I think the last player is Miranda Ellis, and she was an All-American that transferred to Oklahoma State from Texas, who opted out of the 2021 season and due to COVID-19. But in 2020, she was Softball America's Player of the Year and threw a perfect game against New Mexico. So we were able to watch her. And again, that's what I was saying about ESPN that was coming up a lot. I think ESPN is the main owner of these games. However, I don't think they're locked down against ESPN Plus as much. And I think the NCAA also might be fronting the games on a different side, but it's definitely gaining more national viewership and TV viewership. I think because they also have their niche in terms of who's going to be watching and when a little bit more nailed down. So I think you should be able to more easily access it. Like they have the new game week of the series, which is going to be Thursday night throwdown, probably better than Thursday night football in most times.
Probably, honestly.
And that's going to be coming in mid-April through early May, and should be for the top matchups on ESPN2.
And I will say that that's awesome that they're getting more coverage, because that's really how like these sports and these events and things become more popular, is by actually getting coverage and getting like just the event out there, like putting it out there for more people to watch. And like I said, it's entertaining. You're not gonna watch a boring game. Granted, obviously there could be a one-sided game where one team's up 15-0 and that might be boring, but for the most part, you're not going to get a boring game, especially if you see any of the names that we've matched or that we've named in that game. Tune in, because you're going to be in for a show. I mean, you don't hear often that a girl who opted out of the season's coming back who threw a perfect game the previous year. Yeah, a perfect game. Like, look up how many people have done that. Not very many. Tell you that much.
Yeah, so you have that entire entire season of hype to be built up. And if you're marking off a calendar for the last time I remember watching this for last year, there's going to be the World Series is going to be in Oklahoma City, June 2nd through June 9th through 10th, depending upon if they need extra games or not. And it's funny that this came up as well, that we were talking about instant replay beforehand, but instant replay is going to be just added for this season or for this year awesome. Into the sport itself, with challenges as well. So a little bit of following baseball there in terms of innovation, but it's good because they had less time to grow as popularly, and they're doing it already. So that's what you want to see.
Well, and I see here too, the next line is added extra days to the World Series, so that hopefully teams are better rested. That's crucial. I mean, people don't
Yeah.
realize that like you play that many games back to back, like let alone take away the game itself. I mean, they're running around. It's the, obviously you're playing a sport. You're going to be high energy in the sport, but there's also the emotional drain too. Like like that girl throwing a no hitter in the World Series thing, like that's
Yeah.
a couple days recovery, like on your body, but a couple days on your freaking mind too. Of like, hey, I just threw a
Yeah.
no hitter in one of the like you need to come down from that high to really focus and get ready for the next team. So adding extra days, that's going to be huge for them because that's
I,
going to
I
be a
was trying
better.
I was trying to figure that out last year because we were watching it, and I think there might have been another event that was like conflicting with it at that point, but
Yep.
I couldn't figure out so many doubleheaders in NCAA. Yeah, I don't know why they were trying to rush it so much because I think in terms of like in general viewership and general like engagement, it was like way up, but then they were like hurrying to rush it and like to end it rather than letting it space
Yeah.
out and breathe a little bit. It was really strange, and that's, I mean, good they addressed it and everything, but in my eyes it was like the most I had paid attention to it, and it was like climactic, I guess, in a certain way, but it was also like they were just trying to push it to the side and get it done, like get it done and out of
Yeah.
the way really quickly, which was silly. So it's always,
Well,
I mean, it's like what it's again, I always go back to the NFL because I'm just dumb ape brain for NFL stuff, but like you would, oh yeah, the same time as the NBA finals. Yeah, exactly. That
that's what
was
it
part
was.
of it.
Yeah,
It's
that
like
was what it was.
rest always is going to lead to better games. So they always have
Yep.
the argument that Thursday night football is trash because it's going to do, it's going to lead to
Yeah.
worse um, performance and everything. So if you give people time to rest and like game plan and everything, it's going to be a more interesting matchup. I think I remember watching the end of that last game and people were exhausted. I mean, obviously they were exhausted.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah,
just
that's
a
what I'm
good thing.
saying.
Obvious in retrospect.
Well, and I'll tell you what too. This is like I said, I've talked about how people should watch it because it is very, like I said, very entertaining. This is the year I feel like that's going to be huge for them because the fact that they're getting all these new, game of the week series, the Thursday Night Throwdown, you're getting more, nearly 60 games on TV for the SEC network, 1,900 matchups across multiple digital networks, 200 televised games. Like this is a year where like add extra days to the World Series so that hopefully the competition there is a little bit more fair and better. Adding instant replays is incredible. I mean, that's huge. This seems like this is going to be a year where like you should tune in. Like
Not
if
to mention
you
the MLB being locked out right now. So for your baseball addicts, like this is
yeah.
where they'd be flocking to.
You want to see baseball being an organization that's running baseball better than baseball itself. Here's where you should watch this.
Right. Yeah.
So so
It's
this is
it has a
tune in.
perfect opportunity that's coming up soon. So again, today, as this is happening right now, there's a bunch of games and they're obviously going to be happening in the future now, but the climactic part of it is well far off into June. However, I mean, this is going to be a regular thing now. So if you're a fan of baseball, if you're a fan of, baseball being off the air right now, then
Or
this is a
entertaining
great thing to
sports.
follow as well. But
Yeah, if
yeah,
you're a fan of entertaining sports, you like to
yeah,
be entertained.
yeah. The NFL's off right now, so you don't have to feel the obligation. If you're like me, the past Sunday, you got a lot done because you realized that that day wasn't prescribed to football, which was both a good thing and a sad thing because I got probably like a week or two worth of chores and like things off my to-do list done. So good for
Mhm.
productivity. Obviously, more football would be great, but if they didn't have that breathing period and it was a 24/7 thing, it wouldn't be as fun to watch. Again, rest is important. That applies to the off season as well. In
Mhm.
conclusion, so yes, take a
Yep.
look at that. It's easy to access. Look at your local NCAA websites or ESPN, of course. If you have a subscription to it, it's going to be even more easily accessible there. If you're also stealing your parents' cable subscription, maybe that makes it even easier because I know we also have done that as well. So